All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you. And before we get into the main article, I just want to say that the Ethereum optimistic roll-ups layer 2 solution appears to be quite delayed, and it looks like it's going to be more like April till that actually comes out, as it was scheduled for March 15th, and quite frankly it's past March 15th, and the developers are saying that they need a little bit more time. They went about it in a little bit more of a vague way than saying that, but basically probably more like April. But in the main news, Elon Musk says Tesla now accepts Bitcoin from US customers, and in quite a interesting way. So Elon Musk announced that Tesla cars can now be purchased using Bitcoin. The electric car company's CEO and techno king said the firm would operate Bitcoin nodes directly and would hold on to Bitcoin it accumulates without converting it to fiat. So they're not going to use BitPay or anything like that. Normally these companies that finally announced that they're accepting Bitcoin for their products and or services end up using BitPay, which is kind of a problem because it's a middleman in between the peer-to-peer system that Bitcoin is. So basically you send your Bitcoin to BitPay and then they immediately cash it out to fiat and then give the vendor fiat. Instead, Tesla is actually going to run their own Bitcoin nodes, and they're just going to accumulate the Bitcoin. Now, that probably doesn't mean that they're not going to sell it, but it does mean that they're going to at least hodl it a little bit. You can now buy Tesla with Bitcoin, Elon Musk tweeted. Tesla first signals its intention to start accepting Bitcoin for products in early February, following its purchase of $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, an SEC filing showed. The option to buy a Tesla using Bitcoin will only be extended to US-based customers for the time being. Elon Musk's insistence that the Bitcoin earned through the sale of the firm's vehicles won't be converted to fiat suggests it's not just being utilized as a transactional medium, but as an investment tool as well. And by running its own dedicated Bitcoin nodes, Tesla will join the global network of peer-to-peer operators who host and synchronize the Bitcoin blockchain. Visitors to Tesla's website from a US-based IP address will now see Bitcoin payment widget added to the site's checkout options. The impact of Tesla's acceptance of Bitcoin may have been felt on the cryptocurrency market early on Wednesday, coinciding with the breaking news. The dollar value of Bitcoin jumped 2.9%, but unfortunately, by now, as of making this video, I believe it's depreciated already. But moving on to the Tesla website, I just happen to have this Model S up for a hot $79,000. Real easy to purchase just for a mere fraction of just $80,000. It's just nothing. But either way, you can see you can now order it with Bitcoin, so it all is correct. And if you happen to have well over one Bitcoin at this point, nearly 1.5 or so to order a Tesla, but I believe Teslas go up to like upwards of $150,000, maybe even $200,000. So it might even cost 2.5 if you want the really good model, but still pretty cool, interesting. Goldman Sachs to offer a note tied to an ETF capable of investing in Bitcoin. So secret ETFs going on. Goldman Sachs has filed a note with the SEC regarding the ARK Innovation ETF, an exchange-traded fund capable of investing in Bitcoin and Bitcoin-adjacent technology. The note states the ETF is actively managed exchange-traded fund that will invest under normal circumstances primarily, at least 65% of its assets, in domestic and foreign equity securities of companies that are relevant to the ETF's investment theme of disruptive innovation. So that's where this gets a little bit vague. So basically they want to make an ETF, but why would Goldman Sachs want to make a brand new ETF? Just to basically do what ETFs already do, invest into companies and securities, etc. But with that end on there, the theme of disruptive innovation, that sounds quite interesting. The disruptive innovation line hints at the potential investment in Bitcoin that is further described in the filing. The ETF may have exposure to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin indirectly through an investment in a grantor trust. The ETF's exposure to cryptocurrency may change over time, and accordingly, such exposure may not always be representative represented in the ETF's portfolio. So they may or they may not. So basically an ETF is usually a basket of funds that are similar to mutual stocks. However, mutual stocks are usually a basket of funds that are only trade or sold once at the end of the day, whereas ETFs can be sold and traded just like stocks or cryptocurrency all throughout the day that the market is open. So basically, what this sounds like is a basket of funds of companies that are investing into cryptocurrencies, sort of like JP Morgan, but they also may throw some Bitcoin in there. So a little bit ambiguous, but there are a ton of ETF filings going on right now, which is probably putting a bit of pressure on the SEC to actually finally release a Bitcoin ETF. As this has sort of been going on for quite a long time, the number of Bitcoin ETFs that have been denied by the SEC is probably reaching in the scores by now. And with Canada making several Bitcoin ETFs, Canadian firms anyway, making Bitcoin ETFs, I think there's like 3 or maybe 4 in Canada already now. So basically one popped up and the rest of them popped up like weeds very, very quickly. Also, Brazil has 1 or 2 of them as well. So the idea is that maybe this will put some actual pressure on the SEC. And I think once the United States has an ETF for Bitcoin, I think it'll be easily probably immediately grow into the biggest Bitcoin ETF in the world, like right off the bat. Probably within a week, it will have $1 billion worth of transactions or something on it. But moving on, Chainlink integration connects Filecoin to smart contract-enabled blockchain. So Filecoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, all coming together a little bit. So basically a Filecoin / Chainlink partnership, kind of. Decentralized storage network Filecoin has integrated with decentralized finance Oracle service Chainlink. An announcement Wednesday said the integration would enable connection between Filecoin and Ethereum and other smart contract-enabled blockchains. Developers will now be provided a full Web 3.0 infrastructure thanks to Chainlink oracles for off-chain computation and Filecoin's decentralized data storage. So that's sort of Chainlink's MO, is that they make oracles. Colin Evrim, ecosystem lead at Filecoin developer Protocol Labs, said the integration will automate Filecoin storage functions and make Filecoin's state accessible on other blockchains. Filecoin and Chainlink's tokens are among 5 that Grayscale Investments offers via new investment trusts, aiming to draw institutional money to the DeFi space. So with this said today, now I don't know the exact price of Filecoin right now, but Chainlink and basically the rest of the market are pretty much down. However, Filecoin had a big jump from this news. But further in the news, Coinbase continues to explore support for digital assets. This is the Coinbase blog website. It appears that they are thinking about adding additional cryptocurrencies to basically the very slow Coinbase Pro that adds cryptocurrencies at a very, very slow rate compared to other exchanges. Coinbase's goal is to offer support for all assets that meet our technical standards, which nobody knows what that even means, and which comply with applicable laws. Over time, we expect our customers around the world will have access through Coinbase platforms to at least 90% of the aggregate market cap of all digital assets in circulation. So it sounds like they're looking to ramp things up a little bit. And honestly, if I was working at Coinbase and I was some kind of executive there, I would be putting the fire to their bottoms to add additional cryptocurrencies as well, because a lot of the times you want some kind of new coin or a new DeFi coin or something that just comes out, and it's definitely not on Coinbase Pro for sure. And I would also suggest to Coinbase Pro add a DeFi section as well, to start actually accumulating some of those new DeFi coins. We will continue to evaluate prospective assets against our digital asset framework to assess factors like security, compliance, and the project's alignment with our mission of creating an open financial system. So today we're announcing that we're exploring the addition of a range of new assets as part of the exploratory process. Customers may see public-facing APIs and other signs that we're conducting engineering work to potentially support these assets. So basically, in the API of Coinbase Pro and other signs that we're conducting engineering work, basically you'll probably see wallets popping up for these coins, but yet no trading or be able to actually put it on the platform just to get ready to put them on in the future. And these new assets include, in alphabetical order, Aave, Aragon, Arweave, Bancor, Comp, Digibyte, Horizon, LivePeer, NewCypher, Numeraire, Keep, Network, Origin Protocol, Render Token, Siacoin, Scale Network, Synthetics, and VeChain. So our decision to support any asset requires significant technical and compliance review and may be subject to regulatory approval in some jurisdictions. We therefore cannot guarantee whether or when any above asset will be listed on Coinbase product in any jurisdiction. That's because the US is a terrible place for cryptocurrency, particularly New York. I'm looking at you, the state of New York. The state of New York is very terrible when it comes to being able to buy cryptocurrencies, participate in ICOs, this, that, or the other thing. Definitely not happening in New York, and that's probably why they're really talking about these regulatory approval in jurisdictions. They should just basically say maybe subject to New York's laws. That would be a little bit more realistic. But moving on to CoinMarketCap here, it appears that my CoinMarketCap was a little jacked up for a second there. $1.6 trillion market cap. So we are lowering pretty quickly here, regardless of the Tesla news that came out, which traditionally would be very, very big news for Bitcoin. Because anytime Elon Musk tweets anything about Bitcoin, it rises in value significantly. This time, not so much, although according to the article, it rose 2% after the announcement. Apparently, not for long. 52,384 Bitcoin. Ethereum suffering a little bit more than Bitcoin at $1,576, likely because of the not so good news about the optimistic roll-ups, as people were generally pretty excited about that, because one of the people who were going to, one of the platforms, I suppose, that were going to accept optimistic rollups was Uniswap. And that would have been huge for the crypto world because, quite frankly, Ethereum is easily one of the most used cryptocurrencies in the world, in the fact that there's so many contracts, dApps, tokens, etc. Without Ethereum, we would have a tremendously smaller market cap for sure, because it's not just Ethereum's market cap, it's all of the tokens along with it and all of the usage on the network. And with optimistic rollups, DeFi would have been much easier to use for the average person, or at least much less expensive. But overall, again, the market is not faring particularly well. But you can see here that Filecoin is one of the only ones among the green, at least in the top like 20, 30 or so cryptocurrencies, due to the news about Chainlink. However, ironically, Chainlink did not fare so well. With that news, apparently, people were just a little bit more hyped about the Filecoin side of it, so down to 24.87. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. It helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.